Hey, Garage Gym athletes, before we get to the show, I wanted to check to see if you knew that we are on YouTube. We've been on the platform for a while, but only more recently started to get serious about some video content. So while the podcast will meet most of your needs, some things simply need a visual explanation. So if you want more on concurrent training, programming, garage gyms, head over to YouTube, search Garage Gym Athlete, and subscribe to the channel. I look forward to connecting with you on another platform. All right, let's get to the show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. Jerred Moon here with Joe Courtney. What's up, Joe?
How's it going?
It's going well, man.
Flowing?
We're going to get into our topic this week. Kind of coincides with the bigger podcast we had earlier in the week, which was about what?
Previously.
Yeah. Previous week. The last time we talked about pseudoscience.
The opinion
We're kind
paper,
of talking
yes.
about it again. Yeah, the opinion paper. So fads to not follow is what we're talking about. Because, you know, I think that paper generated a lot of buzz in the fitness community. And so I think just giving our take on fads to not follow, I don't know what Joe has come to with this podcast, and he doesn't know what I've brought to this podcast. So we're going to actually get to surprise each other live and recorded. How many did you bring, Joe?
I mean, I just kind of wrote down several things. There's probably like 6 or 7 I could talk about.
Okay. I only brought 2. So
looks like I'm carrying the team.
Well, I figured if we each had 2, that'd be more than enough to talk about for a long time.
Some of them are pretty quick.
Yeah, you're just gonna glaze over them, or gloss over them. I'm gonna glaze over. You're gonna gloss. All right.
I don't really know the difference. Glazing is for food. Glossing is
glaze is like I'm no longer paying attention. Gloss is like you're just going over it quickly. Okay. Is that right? I don't know. Ask the listener.
Yeah. What's the difference?
Since you have so many, you go first.
I mean, obviously, the first nail on the head is fad diets, and that's any diet that is has a name typically and like really strict parameters. And if you get to a certain point where a diet has like an entire rule book, you should probably just step back and be like, well, is this how nutrition works? Is this how I should be really thinking about my food? You know, I don't think humans grew up with a rule book on everything they should and shouldn't eat. They kind of just ate what was around them, and if it makes you sick, then maybe you don't have it. So, I mean, there's certain premises, certain things that you can take from fad diets. Like, I know paleo was always game changing for me, and like it's more of like the premise of it. Eat meats and vegetables, like eat more natural stuff. And that's like the premise I took. Versus when you get into the weeds of food, and you always have those people see you eat something and go, "Oh, that's not paleo." I'm like, well, you can just screw off there, guy. But then you get into the more ones, keto, to where you're so restrictive of your carb content, and you're analyzing your urine, and then all of those things.
It's funny because it's true.
So fad diets.
You know what was on my list as number 1? Diets. I just wrote diets. You wrote fad diets, but fad is probably more appropriately how I should have written it down. Because I looked it up. The Cleveland Clinic apparently defined it as fad diets are plans sold as the best and fastest approach to losing weight. I feel like there are more reasons for diets than other than losing weight. It'd be the best and fastest approach to gaining muscle, like whatever diet goal you have. But I am 100% in the same camp as you. And that was my biggest one, was just staying away from, I think you put it really well, saying staying away from anything that has a rule book, red tape, anything like that. I don't think that that's how diets should work. And this is one thing, we've had an episode previously where we talked about like, what's one thing we've changed our mind on. This is one of them. Like I used to be the opposite. I used to think that everyone should be on some sort of diet and that was the best way to go. But now I've just seen it play out, not just in myself. I've seen it play out in family members. I've seen it play out in hundreds, if not thousands of athletes. And I haven't seen it being good for anyone long-term. Now that I've been doing this for as long as I have, like I honestly have never once seen someone who's been hardcore one thing for like 15 years and that turn out being okay. Like what comes with that is either some sort of actual health problem because they were neglecting some sort of macro or micronutrient and it compounded over a long enough period of time to where it was a problem, or it comes in a problem in the way of psychological issues to where like you get anxiety when you walk in a restaurant, like those kind of things. And so once I kind of see, like I said, I saw all of those things play out, I've just become super kind of anti-diet. And that doesn't mean I'm anti-health though. And I think that's where they can really get separated. So I'm super pro, like you said, kind of the premise of the paleo diet or whatever you want to call it. Like I really just like eat whole foods as close to the natural source as possible, and don't eat too much. I think that's kind of it. And occasionally eat whatever the hell you want. Is it like I can just tack that on the end there? We call that running some diesel through the engine. And I do that. Whatever. I'm going to eat a burger. I'm going to drink a beer. Like I'm going to do those things and I'm not going to care about it. But when you start getting, and since I've been on both ends of the spectrum, almost zero change in result. Like I've had performance gains in both ways. I think it depends on the frequency of how much diesel you run through the engine, how many of those beers you drink. It obviously can't be on the higher end, but occasionally is going to be no problem, and your body will be able to bounce back from it. And again, if you plan for it appropriate calorie wise, it may not even matter at all. So I think diets are actually end up being bad for you, like I said, for psychological reasons and for actual health reasons, no matter how healthy you think your diet is. So yeah, remove B supplements off the market and go be a vegan. Probably something bad's going to happen, because you don't have any of the B vitamins that you need, but we do have the supplements, right? So it's okay. You can do that, but that's like a known thing. I don't know how known it was when vegans first started out. You know what I mean? Like whenever that started and like people were getting sick and they're like, this is weird. It's like, oh, it's because you don't eat meat anymore. And so that's what's happening, I think, in all of these diets. But like carnivore is much newer. And it's like, oh, and we talked about this already. They stopped being carnivore.
Yeah.
Apparently somewhere in the process of being carnivore. Because, you see lions walking around eating like fruit and fermented dairy and all that stuff, right?
Sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, what's that? And you brewing some kombucha in the back there, Mr. Lion? No. So anyway, don't do a diet. Just have clean eating and don't eat too much. That's about all as far as I go in nutrition these days. So stay away from anything else, in my opinion.
Yeah. We just need to make up our own fad diet. And all it is just like a caloric restriction, just like a small caloric restriction. That's it. But we got to like spin it a certain way. Talk about
doesn't need to be a restriction. Just be as much as you need. How about that? the maintenance diet.
The maintenance.
Don't let things get any worse diet.
We'll get the branding team working on that one.
Yeah, like that would be the best thing to say. Like, look, we're not saying we can make you any better, but we can say you won't get any worse.
There it is. Yeah.
That's the best diet I think ever. So
there it is.
All right.
We're still live by, yeah. The next one I have is pretty short.
Go ahead. Take me out of here.
Cleanses, and these are typically ones when you see people doing juice cleanses where it's like 3-4 weeks. All they do is eat or drink juice, or like they'll juice a bunch of fruits and vegetables, and like that's like all they have for weeks. And while there's a ton of micronutrients with it, it still isn't like a full-on macro, like you're not getting their full-on macro profile or anything like that. Now I'm not saying don't do detoxes, because I think detoxes are separate from cleanses, and detox could be like it could even be like a 24-hour fast for something like that, because just a way to get rid of certain toxins and certain stuff in your body. I've done, after like some long travel where I ran a ton of diesel through the engine, I come back and I've done 24 hours where I just drink bone broth, and it's been great. It's like I bounced back real quick and felt great after. But I'm not going to do. Because when I first did it, I actually I looked up online to see if see what science or what people have done about it. And some people do it for like 30 days. And I was like, that's not, no, like I'm not going to just do bone broth for 30 days. It's ridiculous. It's not enough in there. But, 24 hours, it was fine because it helped reset and clean out my gut. But cleanses go on for much longer. And typically they're marketed to be like, hey, this 3 or 4 week juice cleanse are going to help get 3 inches off of your waist. It's like, all right, well, what happens after that? What happens? What's
let's
the
not
side
eat
effect?
for 2 weeks and see if I lose weight.
Yeah.
Wonder what's the hypothesis. Yeah, I think it'll work. I'll just go off of what you're saying then. I don't know a lot about cleanses or detox. I think detoxification, I think that there's a big fight between the woo-woo nutrition space and then the scientific space about just the word toxin or toxic in general. They all like the crap on each other about that. I'm kind of in the middle because I'm like, the dose makes the poison, right? But if you have like arsenic, you can consume a small amount of arsenic from the soil, right? Like that's okay. Too much arsenic will kill you. And so, yeah, is it a toxin? Yeah, is it toxic? Maybe not. But your body gets rid of these things. And it gets rid of them primarily through breathing, sweating, peeing, pooping. So anything that you can do that helps those things more is a great detoxification process that doesn't involve any pills, any diet, any fruit juices, anything like that. So just poop more, pee more, drink more water, sweat more, breathe more. Sweat more, breathe more. You can do in a sauna. You can do by extra exercise in general. So anyway, that's my take on detoxification, cleanse, all that stuff.
Yeah.
If you want your body to get rid of things, utilize its natural process that it uses to get rid of things. Just do more of it.
That'll be the phase 2 of our new diet plans, the premium tier. It's just called evacuation.
Oh, you came up with a perfect name for it.
Yeah.
I'll work on the tagline.
Yeah.
I'll take 3 because I got another one.
Okay.
Social media education. As your only source of education. There you go. Caveat. Because I think it's
Especially
okay.
If it's not cited.
Yeah, I think it's okay to like learn stuff from social media. I think that that's fine, but don't let it be your only source of education. Like I'm not going to watch a 60-second reel on the stock market and then go put $10,000 bet on whatever that person said. Maybe a bad idea. Could be. Or maybe that's the best 60 seconds ever. And that person should get paid. But anyway, don't do it. And if you do get some like a nugget of wisdom from social media, awesome. Put a pin in it. Do a little research. Open up the Google browser. Find a study. See what you can find 3 studies. Ideally 5 to 9 studies. Either in both directions. Something that agrees with that point of view, something that disagrees with that point of view. Form your own opinion after that. Then start taking action. Not watch and then do because someone said to do after you watch. That, my friends, is what animals do. Monkeys, specifically, and seals. You're not a monkey or a seal. You're a human being. Act appropriately. All right. Got anything on social media education, Joe?
No, I think you got it. That one's free. You're not a monkey or a seal.
Yeah. Speaking, I saw this great social media video of a seal. No, I'm kidding. That's where I get all my education. See how I went full circle there? What's the next one you have?
So I got to kind of get into like very specific products and stuff. So one thing, and this is not just kind of taking shots, elevation masks, waist trainers, and sweatsuits. All of those you see some people use, especially in like, I always like to pick on military gyms just because I've been to them and used them a lot. And it's just that sort of crowd. Elevation masks don't do anything. All it does is make it hard to breathe. People use elevation masks thinking, oh, well, it's like you're training in elevation.
It doesn't do what you It was marketed to do. Don't say it doesn't do anything. But
okay, it does. It makes it harder to breathe.
It does something.
Yeah, wrap a towel around your face, and there's pretty much an elevation mask. But so elevation masks don't do what you think they are. You hear about athletes that train at altitude because it makes them more fit and it helps them. You're learning how to use oxygen better. So if I just breathe in less oxygen, then I'm learning to use it better. But that's not how it works. People train at altitude because it changes their blood, the oxygen in their blood. The oxygen you're breathing isn't doing that. You're still not at elevation. You're just breathing heavier. You're just wearing this thing on your masks and trying a lot harder than you need to be trying, or take it off and actually try harder.
Yeah. I mean, I think the world got that, like people who may have been forced to exercise in a COVID mask. Some gyms did that, right? I think a lot of people.
Yeah.
Plenty of people got experience with what it's like to have an elevation training mask on.
I had to do it a little bit, and it was the absolute worst thing. But I broke the rules and pulled it down to my chin during my sets because I'm not breathing into a friggin' mask. Because even just like strength sets, like I can't breathe. I'm just getting back my same used air at the same time.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Waist trainers and sweatsuits. I don't know if you have more on this. They just make you sweat a lot. It's not exactly
a waist trainer.
Waist trainer.
What is a waist?
I think what
trainer?
those are ones that it's like a insulated thing that you just wear around your waist so that your waist sweats more. It's almost like a sealed rubber band that's like probably a foot wide that goes around you and it insulates your gut so that when you take it off, your entire stomach is covered in sweat. So you're specifically sweating around your midsection, and people think it reduces your belly fat.
I would say that doesn't work.
Yeah, just sweating it.
Yeah, no, that doesn't work. Most of your fat comes out in your urine and your breath. So going back to the evacuation protocol there.
Yeah, evacuation.
I do think that a sauna suit, for what they're actually made for, like for wrestlers, works. Like if you're trying to cut weight and you need to lose a ton of water weight, that's about their only purpose, in my opinion.
Very specific scenarios when you need to make weight, yeah.
But it doesn't wrestlers work like needing to make weight for a fight, or a fighter or wrestler needing to make weight for a match or a fight, like that's it. If you're wearing a sauna suit and you're not in that situation, I'm confused by you.
They also will carry on. This is just guys I knew in high school. They will also carry around a water bottle, and instead of swallowing their own saliva, they will spit in a water bottle so that they don't retain any of that water weight from their saliva. Like they just spit in water.
These people are preparing for a fight. Need to make weight.
Yes.
Well, do what you got to do. If you're being an athlete is very different than being like a general health. They're not the same. Athletes are not healthy. What? Did I just say that? Yeah, that's true. You got anything else? I only had 2. I brought 2 to the table.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Let's do one more from you.
Okay. Yeah. Well, there's 2 I could say. But you touched on it in the past. If it fits your macros, that sort of plan, because it doesn't account for. I don't know if this is fit in the fad diets. Yeah, quality. You see again, social media, the influencers. It gets to Sunday and they have X amount of macros left, so they have a bowl of ice cream with protein powder in it and peanut butter and all these things because it's like, well, it's just leftover macros that they get to stuff in their face.
Yeah, I mean, I do put that in the general diet category because anything that's going to have a bunch of rules and everything. I mean, honestly, I feel like your diet is how like sailors used to sail in the ocean when they navigate by the stars. They'd just be like, that's honestly probably the best way to lose weight is just like, don't even track anything. Just, I think I'm eating less than I was. And then weigh yourself a week later. Was your hypothesis correct or incorrect? I gained 2 pounds. It was incorrect. Try harder. And then I'm not going to say you just have to keep eating less and less and less. That's not what I'm trying to. But like you could figure this out on your own without having to go down this crazy macro path. going down those paths accelerates things because you're getting a little bit more scientific, calculated, like, and so I'm not saying that counting macros is a bad idea. It's just a matter of when I look at the sustainability of that when you are 78 years old. Are you going to be cutting a walnut in half because you're worried about how many grams of fat it has? Probably not. Like, I want to do something that's sustainable forever. And so I do like macros. I don't like if it fits your macros. But I don't like macros forever. I think it's always like a short-term tool. And that's what we've always said with those things.
And the last one, this is kind of a newer-ish one. I guess the newest one kind of on the list because of trends. And that is when you go to a grocery store, Jerred, you don't know what I'm talking about. You get lost in grocery stores. We've heard
Dude,
that
I don't
story.
think anybody goes to grocery stores anymore, do they? I feel like everyone orders groceries.
Oh, well, we still do. We're old school, I guess.
I went to a grocery store the other day. The reason I say this is because I went to a grocery store. I had to pick up like 2 things. And I feel like everyone there was one of those shoppers. I was like, am I the only person who like still comes? Like every single one, they had like, you know, the big like app or like a lot of them worked for the grocery store. So they had like this big like machine.
Yeah.
They're like scanning it and like putting it in and like communicating with their client. I mean, that was the majority of the grocery store. And I was the minority of person in grocery store shopping for my own things. So anyway, weird.
Yeah.
Cool world. It's an awesome world. That's great.
I guess here's B is go to the grocery store your damn self and pick out your own produce because I like to pick out, make sure my produce is good and to see what's
That's
there.
Where they always screw up. Stuff. Yep.
Yeah. But you go to grocery stores now, if you haven't in a while, most stores now will have a section in the refrigerator section called healthy alternatives. Do you know what's in the healthy alternative section?
Vegan stuff.
It's all vegan stuff.
And
I don't know who deemed that those are the healthy alternative products just because they are plant-based. Not everything plant-based is going to be healthy. If that were the case,
meat alternative ingredients, 900 different chemical compounds, way healthier.
Yeah, you're going to get all kinds of crap in there. And I mean, I guess they didn't want to say meat alternatives or vegan products because both of them have their own negative connotation. But you know, healthy alternatives, that's sure to be a seller. But just because it's plant-based doesn't mean it is. If that were the case, then there's another store you could go to that is they're going to be infinitely more healthy. And that's the liquor store because everything in there is plant-based. So, you know, that's got to be legit, right? You know, they're not making tequila out of pork.
I'm surprised that there's not, I mean, I'm sure it's happened, but a liquor store taking advantage of that and just saying like plant-based liquor.
Tonics. They don't say tonics.
Oh, that's great.
Just every single
I'm trying to poke a hole in that. Like, I'm not necessarily a liquor or alcohol expert, but I mean, you got beer covered. What vodka's made from like either potatoes or grapes or something, and I mean, it's all like wheat or something, right?
Like, basically. So they should just have, just aside, just have plant-based beer, plant-based tequila, plant-based everything.
Try there, and then if it
100% plant-based,
change the name of your store.
Plant-based liquor. There we go.
So many drunk vegans in there.
And
right. Is that everything?
Yeah. I mean, unless you talk about the people who are anal about their water.
Nope. Because I am that person, so we just don't even need to go there. That's a fad worth following. Go filter your water, people.
Yeah.
All right, that'll be it for this one. And if you're listening, 5-star review, positive comment, it really helps the show out. If you're watching us on YouTube, leave a comment, give us feedback. We actually make changes based off of feedback. We just need the feedback. So if you give us feedback, we will act on that. So we appreciate the feedback and comments we have gotten. Subscribe to the channel. So we do have a lot of content that comes out. You're going to get notified of when it comes out. But that's it for this week, guys. Thanks for watching or listening. And remember, if you don't kill comfort, comfort will kill you. Thanks for listening to the Garage Gym Athlete podcast. If you want to learn more, go to garagegymathlete.com. You can learn about our training. Let us send you a copy of our book, The Garage Gym Athlete, or you can even get featured on the Garage Gym Athlete podcast. Thanks for listening.